California is no stranger to wildfires, but this one has fast become the most destructive in the state's history. As of this taping, 31 people are confirmed dead, more than 200 are missing, most as a result of the so-called Camp Fire in the northern part of the state. That's one of 3 fires burning through the region, with the other 2 in the south. And with videos like these of people racing to escape on roads surrounded by flames on all sides, you have to be concerned about the well-being of everyone in the path of these fires. At least you'd think concern for these victims and survivors would be top of mind. But then you read a tweet like this from the President of the United States. There is no reason for these massive, deadly, and costly forest fires in California, except that forest management is so poor. Billions of dollars are given each year, he tweets, with so many lives lost, all because of gross mismanagement of the forest. Remedy now or no more Fed payments. Given that tweet came just as tens of thousands of people were fleeing for their lives and countless firefighters were headed into the danger zone to save others and risk their own lives, you can imagine how well the message went over.
This is really not about politics, it's about people. So I would beg the President to pursue a major disaster declaration and not make this a political incident.
California Professional Firefighters President Brian Rice went even further, saying in a statement, the president's message attacking California and threatening to withhold aid to the victims of the cataclysmic fires is ill-informed, ill-timed, and demeaning to those who are suffering, as well as the men and women on the front lines. He went on to point out that many wildfires start in populated areas as well as open fields, and that, in fact, more than half of California's forests are under federal management, noting, quote, it is the federal government that has chosen to divert resources away from forest management, not California. I'm now joined by Gina McCarthy. She's the former EPA administrator under Barack Obama and a Boston native who's now director of the Center of Health and the Global Environment at Harvard's Chan School of Public Health. She's also an advisor at Pegasus Capital Advisors. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. President says gross mismanagement of the forest is the cause of these historically deadly fires. Is he right?
No.
Should
we close this?
But is there a management issue?
Oh, sure. I mean, there's always the need for better forest management. But really, frankly, we're not dealing with fires that are business as usual in California, and even he should be able to see that.
Well, let's stay on him for a second. If you go back, I guess it's 2 or 3 months, another crack at this he took in August, where he said that faulted management as well, saying that management there was allowing millions of gallons of water to flow to the sea rather than fighting forest fires. Any truth in that one either?
No, I mean, you're seeing 2 things here. Is the president, when anything happens, he likes to blame the victims. And the second thing he likes to do is play to his base. His base loves it when he whacks California.
Even when firefighters are forget real people for a second, firefighters running in, as that saying goes, we know, when others are running out, that plays to his base?
I don't think it's playing very well to the people in California, but it doesn't seem to stop him from reacting like this. And there's reasons for this, Jim.
What is that?
I mean, these are complicated problems. The fires in California are not normal. They're more intense. You see changes in the seasons so that now forest fires, large forest fires, are happening all year long.
There used to be fire season, from what I understand, but the season, as you say now, is extended around the 12 months.
Well, surprisingly, to those of us who don't believe or deny climate change, they're having warmer temperatures there. They're having less rainfall. So the seasons are now mixing so that you have a tinderbox there in California, both in the south and the north. And what you're seeing is tremendous lives lost and property damage. That is, for us, astounding.
Thousands of homes, the whole town of Paradise is gone. Here's Jerry Brown, the outgoing governor of California, speaking to issues very much like Gina McCarthy.
Managing all the forests in every way we can does not stop climate change. And those who deny that are definitely contributing to the tragedies that we're now witnessing and will continue to witness in the coming years. So the chickens are coming home to roost.
One of the things that is amazing, I've had this discussion with you before about how hard it is to move some people because some of the effects are so slow. The chickens are coming home to roost really fast in California. I read just today that 9 of the 10 worst forest fires in California history have happened just since 2000. So the climate change impact, and I assume the population impact, we'll get to that in a second, is advancing dramatically and quickly, no?
Jim, that's why I'm glad you're doing this segment, and I'm glad there's some TV shots. This is really a frightening situation. And what you're seeing also is that kids are not allowed to go out and play. They are keeping kids in the school. You are seeing bikers in California with big masks to try to keep the particulates out of their lungs. This is a terrible situation that's only going to get exacerbated, and it's time for us to step up and recognize it and do something about it.
But has the climate change impact been this pronounced this quickly? I mean, they talked about, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah.
The temperature changes, the dryness are happening just in a matter of years in California?
Well, we all know that California and many of the West are prone to these types of forest fires. This is not new, but their intensity, their frequency, the way that they're moving as quickly as they are, the way individuals and communities are moving in to areas that used to be uninhabited. These are all real challenges that we have to think about and we have to plan for now.
What does that mean? I mean, let's go work backwards. When you talk about population, I think I read today the population of California has doubled since the 70s, from 20 to 40 million. It seems to me, I don't know if any state has ever done this. I don't even know if it's constitutionally permissible. They've got to do something to limit population growth, at least in certain areas of the state, don't they?
Well, didn't we face the same thing in Houston where the areas that were flooded, you know, people didn't realize where they were buying, what the hazards were? I heard one of the folks that work in the Forest Service talking about the need to inform people when they're moving into areas of fire hazard. Now, I'm not trying to blame them for moving in there, but there are ways in which you can inform people about the threat and recognize that changing climate is going to exacerbate that.
Well, you can make zoning changes, I assume, too, that would accommodate the climate change threat in certain jurisdictions.
You can. You certainly do. It's part of climate adaptation. You look at where the lowland areas that are going to be flooded. You look at the areas that are now tinderboxes where you expect fires to happen. And you look at changes in insurance that try to provide an incentive for folks to not move into those areas. But the real estate community is very strong in every state.
And they
do not see these things change very readily.
Jerry Brown also said we're in a new abnormal. Things like this will be part of our future.
Yeah.
Even if it turns, I mean, California is serious about climate change. Obviously, the United States is not anymore since your boss is no longer president, since you're no longer there. Realistically speaking, what can they do on the climate change front to slow down the progression of these fires? Is not a huge amount, is there, or is there?
No, right now, you know, any of the change that's already happened, we can't get back again. But what you have to do is adapt to it. And one of the things we have to learn is where are these areas, how to give people information, how to more quickly reach those people and get them out of there, and give people themselves a sense that they don't have the time they used to in order to get out of these areas.
But you know how horrible it is to hear you say this? I mean, it's so pathetic, frankly, that the solution we're talking about is be prepared to escape more quickly because it's coming. I mean, is that really what it's come to?
It's part of the world we live in right now, and that world is going to expand, and there's going to be more people in that same vulnerable position if we don't start addressing climate change now, and if we don't give people the means to protect themselves and support places like the Forest Service, whose funding has been cut considerably over the years. For many years,
Federal Forest Service, which controls 60% of the forest land in California.
And so the idea is not to take money away from them and stop paying them, but to actually get money to protect our forests, to better manage them, to work with communities on where they should build and not build.
So, but realistically speaking, we have at least 2 more years of this kind of approach to climate change denial, for lack of a better expression. So when you're sitting here 12 months from now, we're going to be having the same conversation about yet another historically deadly fire or fires in California.
Or flood. Yeah, we will continue to have to face those. It is our reality now, Jim.
And how much, I mean, again, California has done as much, I think, as a layperson, as virtually any individual jurisdiction can do. That's true, right? They've done it all.
That's right. That's right. They've done as well as anybody could expect, and they're continuing to be on the front line of looking at ways to incent reductions in carbon pollution that's fueling climate change. But it is not going to reverse the damage that's been done.
Last thing, you're the organization you're running at Harvard. I know you have to just say the Chan School of Public Health.
That's right.
C as in climate
Yes.
hyphen change. While this is a horror show, these are the kinds of things, immediate impact, not polar bears as much as we love them on an iceberg, that have potential to change people's minds. No?
Well, I think they do, as long as we sympathize with the people, unlike what the president has done, and understand that they're trying to do the same thing that the rest of us are trying to do: live healthy, safe lives. And in these areas, it is no longer looking like the safety that all of us need in the future for our children. That's the challenge we have today, is to make all of this personal. And if you don't look at those and personally start to feel for those human beings and put yourself in their place, losing their home,
just watch the
losing
video
lives,
of one of those people driving on their cars with flames coming up.
It's time to stop ignoring this stuff, Jim.
Couldn't
We
agree
just
more.
can't.
That's two of us, Gina.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Gina McCarthy, thanks so much. Appreciate your time.